everybody, welcome to Life with a Side of Autism. Today I wanted to talk about how parents of children with autism, actually all parents, we should learn how to pick our battles better. So if you want to hear more about that, stay tuned. Hello. So picking battles, that is just one of the lessons I've really learned throughout my time as a parent of a child with autism. And I think that it's just really important. And, you know, a lot of times when we're going and bringing our child to therapy, we're not really being taught that so much. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, is just knowing when to pick your battles. And I think sometimes as parents, you know, just in general, but, you know, even a parent of a child with a disability especially, we kind of feel like we always have to be on because, you know, we know that, you know, come Monday morning when we drop our child off at therapy, that we could possibly unbreak some habits a little bit or be a little bit less rigid and demanding on our child over the weekend, that possibly our team of therapists on Monday morning might notice, or after a long holiday might notice and get upset with us. And I gotta be honest, just being in the field, I hear that a lot. I will hear therapists saying like, oh my gosh, you know, this family lets them run wild all over the weekend. And I say, well, you know, that family is just trying to make it through the weekend. So until you live with a child with autism 24/7, like, you need to be a little bit more supportive. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. I think a great example that just hit me, this was probably like 10, 15 years ago, is that I was in a grocery store. I was in a Meijer, if you live in the Midwest, and there was this little girl in a shopping cart, and she was a typical little girl. She was maybe 3.5. She was beautiful, had blonde hair, blue-eyed, just a pretty little thing. And I was behind them in line, you know, waiting to unpack our groceries. And she said to her mom, she said, "Can I have some M&Ms?" And her mom said, "No, you don't need them right now." You know, fair enough. Well, that was not fair enough for that little girl. She was like, "I want M&Ms, I want M&Ms, Mom, I want M&Ms, ah!" You know, so she really protested not having M&Ms, and her mom kept saying, "Sarah, you can't have them. Sarah, no M&Ms. When we get home, we're going to have dinner." But, you know, and this just went on and on and on. And let me tell you, Sarah could kick up a big old dust storm, and she got louder and louder. And of course, people were looking, and Sarah is just in full on tantrum, upset that she could not have M&Ms. So finally, just because I think mom was so mortified and it went on so long, and really, you know, the screaming was kind of upsetting to people. It was very loud, and, you know, people were getting upset and giving mom, you know, "Oh, you're the worst mother of the year" kind of look. Finally, the mom just grabbed a bag of M&Ms, ripped them open, and just gave them to Sarah. So Sarah just got her M&Ms. And so basically what happened is mom just taught Sarah, you're going to ask for something, I'm going to say no, you are going to pitch a fit, and then I'm going to give them to you. And so that was just like the lesson that Sarah learned. And so then Sarah just had her whole little bag of M&Ms, and she's eating them and as happy as can be. And mom, again, is just mortified, feeling like all eyes are on her, feeling judged, just wanting to get the hell out of there, you know? So I think that is a really good example of picking your battles. Because if we go back, and of course hindsight's 2020, if we go back and really look at that situation, it started off with Sarah saying, "Mom, can I have some M&Ms?" She asked for them appropriately. She couldn't have said it any nicer or any more appropriate. Did she need M&Ms? Was she going to go home and have dinner? No, she did not need M&Ms right now. She was going to go home and have dinner. But was that a battle that mom should have chosen to fight? Because mom knows Sarah, and mom probably knew that Sarah might kick up a fuss. So Sarah asked appropriately, and mom probably just should have said, "Thanks for asking so nice. Yes, let me get you can have a couple M&Ms while we're waiting because you're waiting so nicely." And grabbed a bag of of M&Ms, ripped them open, and just, like given her one. And then when she asked for another one, said, like, okay, but just, doled them out to her in a slow manner. And again, that would have kind of taught Sarah, if I ask for things in a nice, appropriate way, I'll get them. I won't necessarily get the whole bag, but I'll get a couple. And mom could have even said, okay, I'll give you 12 or something like that. But that's not what happened. So like looking back at that moment, again, mom knows Sarah's history and probably knows that Sarah isn't the kind to be like, okay, you said no. Mom probably knows that Sarah's gonna pitch a fit. So mom probably should have just said, I'm not gonna pick this battle. I'm not gonna, fight this battle. She asked for it appropriately. I'm going to just let her have some M&Ms so we can get out of here, peacefully without a ruckus. But again, I think we're always worried about what people are thinking about us and our parenting skills. And I mean, really, go to a restaurant sometime or just watch a family with, kids. You can tell that they are acting differently, that the parents are being, more attentive, more explaining, more patient than they probably are at home. And that's just, it's just how it is. You're just more worried about what people are looking and thinking about you when you're out in public. For me, in my own life, I had one of those moments, and I refer to it as the Cheez-It moment. But Bradley was probably maybe 13 or 14, and it was 9 o'clock at night. And by 9 o'clock at night, I am usually pretty much done with my day. I am winding down. I don't have a lot of brain cells left. And Bradley came out, and Bradley is, like I said, 13 or 14. He's definitely chubby. And he's like, Mom, can I have some Cheetos? And so it's like I said, it's probably 9:30 or so. And I'm thinking to myself, he does not need to be eating Cheetos at 9:30 at night. He needs to brush his teeth and get ready for bed. But I know Bradley. I know that Brad is not going to go down without a fight. And if I told him no Cheetos, that I would have to fight and win the no Cheetos battle. And was I willing to fight a Cheeto battle for 2 hours? I wasn't. So pretty much I was like, yeah, have the whole fucking box. Enjoy. Now, I didn't say that to him, but that's really what my mentality was. So I just said, yeah, you can have some Cheetos. Let's go pour them in a bowl. So I didn't let him have the box. I gave him kind of a limit. We put him in a good sized bowl and he had his Cheetos and it was done with, and I said, when you're done with your Cheetos, put the bowl in the dishwasher and make sure you brush your teeth. Okay. But the fact of the matter is he came to me and he asked my permission and he asked for them appropriately. So that should get some kind of a reward in itself, I think, especially with a kid on the spectrum who you're trying to teach proper manners to. But if I had said no, we would have had to fight for 2 hours. I want some Cheetos. Why can't I have Cheetos? Should never let me have Cheetos, And again, I would have had to listen to that painful stuff. And finally, I would have either given in and said, yes, just have the Cheetos. And I would have just taught Brad, hey, ask nice, I'll say no, be an ass, and you'll get your way. Or I could just say, ask nice, we'll kind of make a little bit of a compromise. You can't have the whole box, but you can have some, and teach them that way. So I think it's really important because with the way that behavior works, it's we all kind of have a baseline. So you have your baseline behavior. And sometimes you hear people say, well, okay, every time Johnny does this behavior, I'm just going to ignore him. Well, what happens is you get Sarah. You tell Sarah no, and she blah, blah, blah. She is just going to go through this big thing, and then eventually you're going to give in. So now Sarah's baseline was here, and now you've just told her, scream longer, louder, harder, and now her baseline's here. So you have to be careful with that. So a lot of times in the field when we're working with kids or anybody with a behavior that we don't want anymore, we will do what we'll put it in extinction. So say we wanted to put the getting of M&Ms on extinction. We would know that we would have to say no to her. You can't have these M&Ms. And we know that we would have to say no, and fight every battle to the bitter end. And we would see her longer, louder, harder. We would see that behavior spike. And then we would eventually see it drop off. We would call that an extinction burst. But you can't usually put something on extinction without being ready for it. You have to teach them an alternate behavior because she wants M&Ms. She's asking for something. Say she's allergic to chocolate. No, you can't have M&Ms, but you can have fruit snacks, something that she wasn't allergic to, something like that. But you just have to be careful because every time that, you have these battles and you say no and then you go back on your word, you're basically raising that person's baseline of tolerance. And now you've just taught them longer, louder, harder, fussier. So you have to be really careful about trying to extinguish a behavior just out of nowhere and always having a replacement behavior. Like, for example, we definitely work in the field with kids sometimes with autism, kids who are very, very smart and they really know what works. And they know that if they don't like to do something or they don't want to do something, that what works really well is they'll wet their pants. It's like, oh, Johnny, we have to, do this. We have to, do this writing. I don't want to do writing. We have to do this writing. And then Johnny wets his pants. Well, what happens? You can't have Johnny sitting there in wet pants. So you have to stop that activity. You have to go and change him. And, it's like a 20-minute process. And so Johnny has learned, again, we know the 4 functions of behavior. One of them is escape. Johnny has learned that, man, I wet my pants and I'm done with this. But what you have to do is you have to go back and teach Johnny he's got to, do that sheet again. And so sometimes what we'll find if we don't give him a replacement behavior where he might say, like, I don't want to do this worksheet. Can I have a break first? To say that I don't like doing this. I don't want to hold the pencil. It bothers me. I need a break, whatever. We have to give him some kind of replacement behavior where we can maybe teach him to say, can I have a break first? So we have to teach him that, because if you try to replace a behavior that's serving a purpose and you don't give them a replacement behavior to meet that same need, they're just going to up the ante. What's going to happen if we don't teach Johnny a behavior and he knows that we're just going to just not care about his peeing his pants and act like it's no, guess what? He's going to poop the next time. And that's how you see some really small behaviors of licking, then spitting, then biting that will just get worse and worse and worse, because Johnny's like, dude, I can up the ante on this. And they will. So I think we just always have to remember that if we're trying to get rid of a behavior and replace it with something else, we have to give them a replacement behavior. Or if we're just trying to get rid of a behavior, we have to have some kind of replacement behavior in there. So I think the moral of the story is just, just remember sometimes if you're out at a restaurant, if you're at home and you're just trying to make it through the day, don't pick every battle. Every battle is not worth fighting. If they ask appropriately, if they ask the best that they can, reward them for that, and just get on your day, because sometimes you just have to get out the door, and you have to just say, you have to put on your shoes, we have to go. You can't wait out these big battles. So live your life, try to make it through the day. Not every moment has to be a teachable moment with a big consequence. So I think that's really important for parents to learn. So I hope this makes sense. I hope it will just put a little bit of food for thought. And the next time you're at Outback and your child doesn't want to eat the broccoli, maybe just make a deal with him and tell him he's just got to eat 1 floret and call it a day and say, yay, you ate 1 little broccoli floret, and if you want to go home with him the next night and fight over broccoli, fine, but maybe not at a restaurant. It's okay. You can reward him for taking 1 bite. Hey, great job, you took a bite, I appreciate that, and high five, super, and then go home, and at home, the next night he might have to take a couple more bites. So that's that. I hope this helped you out a little bit. I'd love to hear your comments and experiences and thoughts, so please leave those below. It's hard sometimes, but we'll get through this. We all get through this. We all have these same challenges, but just remember to be good to yourself, and we'll talk on the next video. Take care.